Hello, darlings. It's been quite some time since we've dived into true experience stories on Musey's Modern Dreadfuls. So today, that's exactly what I'm gonna start you out with. A true paranormal experience. And away we go. I was almost possessed. So, this is 100% a true story that happened to me when I was 12 to 14. This is also super long, so be warned. I lived in a really small town in Wisconsin with my family when I was about 12 years old. My parents got divorced when I was 8, so it was just my mom and her boyfriend and all my siblings in the house, minus the 3 oldest. I had finally gotten my own room since the 3 oldest moved out, and I was so excited. But for the first couple of months, I didn't sleep in there because I was too scared. So I would go sleep with my sister in her room. But as we were getting ready to move out of that house, I finally worked up the courage to sleep in my room by myself. My bed was positioned so when I laid down on my back, I was facing the door. This night in particular, I had kept the bedroom door open because it was a warm summer night. I remember waking up sometime in the night. I have no idea what time it was, nor do I think I would even remember. Anyway, when I woke up, I turned over onto my back and happened to look outside my door. I saw this black silhouette of a man who I thought looked just like Abraham Lincoln, tall and thin with what looked like a top hat and a beard. He was standing right outside my door, next to the railing that led to the stairs, and I remember staring for a moment, but getting freaked out and covering my head with the blanket and going right back to sleep. So, fast forward about a year to where we moved into our new house, a small mobile home in the middle of nowhere, and I had a dream. In the dream, I was back in the old house, my childhood home. I remember all I could think was, I'm home. It felt so calm and so familiar. Everything was exactly how I remembered it, down to my messy room. In my dream, I went exploring through the house, reminiscing. I was so happy to be home, and I didn't want to leave again. But then I woke up. It was such a nice dream, but eventually I forgot about it. And that was when I had my second dream. This was roughly a month or so later. I was back in my old home, but something was off. As I was walking through my home, I realized some of the things were missing. The china cabinet in the dining room was missing. The stereo we had in the living room was gone, and so on. Just little things were off. It didn't feel as familiar or happy as the last dream I'd had. But then I woke up yet again, and just like the last time, I eventually forgot about it. Then, probably 2 or 3 months later, I had another dream. I was back in my childhood home. Surprise, surprise. And again, things were missing and the whole energy just felt off. I remember feeling very uneasy and uncomfortable there, but I couldn't leave. And then I saw him again, the tall shadow of a bearded man with a hat. He was just wandering around upstairs. I got really freaked out and tried to leave. In a panic, I woke myself up. But, as always, I forgot about it. Just a few short months later, when I was staying at my grandparents' house, I had what would be the last dream. I was back in my old house, and this time, everything was gone. The whole house was empty. It probably looked that way because that was how it was the last time I saw it, right before we officially left the house. But it was creepy. I was walking through the house again, feeling just creeped out, and I just wanted to leave. It was no longer home. It simply didn't feel like home anymore. But then there was a shadow man or figure. It didn't look like the old shadow I'd seen before, but I couldn't make out any features either. It was definitely a he, and he asked me if I was okay, and I said, no. Then I told him I wanted to leave. Then he asked, would you like to leave with me? And held out his hand creepily. I got such a bad feeling from him, so I said no. He started promising me that if I went with him, I could go back to my childhood home, back to what was so familiar and happy. But I refused. And luckily for me, at this point, I'd gotten used to forcing myself to wake up. After that, I had enough. And I told my sister everything, from the shadow man I first saw to all the dreams I had. At first, we thought maybe I was having some sort of psychic visions, but a few years later, I found out the truth. I found out that the silhouette I saw was a shadow person after I watched a video on what shadow people are. A couple years later, I met my boyfriend, whose entire family is very familiar with the supernatural, and I finally found out what the whole thing meant. He explained to me that demons often come to you in dreams to attempt to possess you. They'll start by creating a situation that is familiar and comforting to you. But after a dream or two, they start adding or taking things away. Slowly though, so as not to make it obvious. You start to become uncomfortable and threatened and scared until one time they're the only thing there that is familiar and makes you feel safe. And that's when they'll promise you everything you ever want. And as soon as you say yes, you're saying yes to them taking you over. Apparently, there was something about me in particular that the demon wanted to possess, or a reason it was targeting me in particular. particular. My boyfriend explained that I was very smart for saying no and telling my sister, because by telling my sister, I basically broke that demon's hold. That's apparently why, way back in the old days, people would always make sure to tell their dream to someone. Speaking about it helps break the cycle. It basically breaks hold of whatever spirit or demon may try to possess you. I know this was extremely long, but if you made it to the end, then thank you. And I hope that this information can help somebody. Happily, after I shared what was going on, I have never had another paranormal experience. Stay safe, everyone. And that was today's tale, a true paranormal experience. It could be listed as the Shadow Hat Man or Shadow People or possession, whatever you want to interpret it as. Hey, didn't happen to me. I'm more than happy that it didn't happen to me. It can stay away from me. Please and thank you. And speaking of thank you, Yippee-Ki-Ya, Musey-Lovers, I hope you enjoyed this little true experience. I will have more fun, terrifying horror to bring to you, but I wanted to bring a true experience today. All right, see you soon, loves. Bye now.